Hello Stagecraft. Today we're going to be taking a look at the bandsaw. We have two bandsaws in our shop. This one here, a large industrial size one, and then way over there on the other side of the shop is a smaller hobbyist type bandsaw which is designed to sit on a table. The bandsaw is a power tool. It's a saw, the name implies, and because of that there are certain safety features we need to be aware of and also some gear we need to be wearing. So we need to make sure that we have our glasses on. This saw is actually pretty quiet depending on what we're cutting, so we want to make sure we have our headphones or ear covers around in case we need them. And then also gloves, as usual, are a good idea. The bandsaw works by having a giant band of steel that sort of spins around on a wheel here and then a wheel down there. This is what one of the bands looks like when it's not on the saw. One edge has teeth. It can have a variety of different teeth, large teeth for cutting quickly through wood or thick pieces of wood, really small teeth for cutting through metal, whatever is appropriate for the task at hand. This one is set up right now to be cutting some wood. It has a fence on it, but it's not ideal for trying to make straight cuts. What the bandsaw is good for doing is making curved cuts, following curved lines or irregular lines, things like that. That's really what it's suited for. This particular saw has a two-step system for turning it on. First we need to turn on the key there. That will power up the tool itself. This little lights will come on here and give us a number. This is the blade speed. You can check that blade speed with a little chart down below here to see, make sure you are set up at the right speed for what you're going to be cutting. Most of the time we're cutting wood. That has a pretty wide range of speeds that are acceptable from 2200 over, so we're at 3125, which is fine for cutting through wood. How this works is we'll place our piece we want to cut down here on the table. We want to make sure we keep our hands away from the blade itself, and then we can just twist and turn this as it makes its way through the cut. The blade has a certain thickness to it in this direction, and the skinnier it is this way, the tighter turns it can make. It's actually a pretty thick blade on there right now, so it won't make real tight turns, but you can switch that out for a small blade. We can adjust the amount of blade that's showing depending on how thick what we're cutting is. We can open this way up for something really tall, all the way up to here if we really wanted to, although that would only want to be maybe foam or something like that we're cutting. And then we normally will lower this down so that the bottom here is just a short distance above what we're going to be cutting. And then on the back over here is a little knob that will lock this in place. Okay, once we have it locked into place and we're ready to go, we can turn it on with the start button here. This saw takes a little bit to get up to speed, so we'll start it. It's also very quiet. You may not be able to hear it on the video. Now it's up to speed. Bring this a little closer and see if it'll pick up the sound. It's much quieter than the other saws, so you want to be careful when you approach it. It also takes a while when you turn it off. It takes a while for the wheels to stop turning. So you want to make sure that blade is stopped before you maybe reach in here to try to push some leftover debris out of the way, or if you want to check your piece of wood, give it a good look, make sure it's stopped before you get in there and touch it. I always recommend using something to push stuff out of the way rather than reaching your fingers in there. Okay, so this is the bandsaw. It's good for curved cuts, not very good for straight cuts, although it can adjust to cut things very tall or quite thin. And we can change out the blade so that it can cut different materials and so that it can make tighter curves. Bandsaw is used pretty often in the shop. and you'll probably get a chance to use it at some time this semester. All right? That's our bandsaw. I will see you in the shop, and we'll take a look at it again then.